What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 13, Holt-ing Court. So this week's episode starts off where last week's episode ended, which was Kimmy and Maurice were still having a conversation about Kiowa. This is after the meeting that they just had with Monster and Kiowa. Both Monster and Kiowa, they've left now, and so it's just Kimmy and Maurice. And so Maurice is telling Kimmy that Kiowa has moved on from the past. Why hasn't she? Because he believes that Kimmy is still waiting for Kiowa to issue her an apology for not stepping in and dispelling the rumors that were circulating that Kimmy and Maurice had gotten together or were having an affair while he was still very much married to Kiowa. So according to Maurice, Kimmy had wanted Kiowa to say something about that at that time when these rumors were circulating heavy, that Kimmy was expecting Kiowa to say something to stop the rumors or to clarify the situation, but Kiowa never did. And her silence spoke volumes. And so because she never spoke up at that time, Kimmy has been waiting for Kiowa to apologize to her and say, girl, I'm so sorry that I didn't say anything back then to stop the rumors. I should have said something because you and Maurice were not having an affair. Me and Maurice's marriage was completely over. But Kiowa never did any of that. And so Kimmy says, I'm not necessarily expecting her to give me an apology, but she says that Kiowa did perpetuate a lie about her because she kept silent when people kept on saying that Kimmy was the other woman and that Kimmy and Maurice were having an affair. Maurice says that Kimmy wanted him to be more stern with Kiowa. And Kimmy says, no, I wanted you just to address it with her, not necessarily be more stern. I just wanted you to address it with her. And Maurice still wants the two women to meet. He's still stuck on that he wants these two women to meet. I'm not understanding why it matters to Maurice so much that Kimmy and Kiowa have this conversation one-on-one. I don't know if he thinks that if Kiowa is more accepting of Kimmy, then maybe Monster be more accepting of him, because maybe Monster has this idea that Kimmy broke up his parents' marriage, broke up his happy home. And so if he sees his mother accept Kimmy, then he himself will accept Kimmy more. But Kimmy's been around for a very long time, for a good chunk of Monster's life. And I'm just not, maybe it's got nothing to do with Monster at all. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand why Maurice is forcing these two women to have a conversation when it seems like they are doing well. They're coexisting, they're co-parenting. They'll never be BFFs, but they're doing so much better. And I don't know why he feels like they need to have a conversation. It's like, why do you want to rock this boat? So Kimmy says in her confessional that Maurice goes above and beyond to protect Kiowa and Monster at my expense. And when she said that, that hit hard. I was like, damn, Kimmy. So Kimmy feels like Maurice makes Monster and Kiowa a priority. Their happiness is a priority, even if it makes her unhappy. If whatever he's doing to secure them being satisfied is making her unhappy, he doesn't care. He'll rather sacrifice Kimmy's happiness just to make sure that Monster and Kiowa are happy. So while they were having this conversation in the living room, I thought Kimmy looked really hurt. I thought that she was trying to fight back tears, to be honest with you. Moving on from there, Letitia. So Letitia's having a photo shoot with her two little girls. So her little girls have their own hair product. I think it's called Macy and Mila. It's named after them. And they have a hair product coming out, and I think it's for little girls' hair, and they looked absolutely adorable. Their hair was so beautiful, and so they're having a little photo shoot. It was really cute, and you can see that Letitia is trying to instill in her children, this whole idea of entrepreneurship and independence and making your own money and having your own brand. And she's, of course, starting really young as she needs to. So that was a cute little scene. Then her cousin Kiki stops by, and Letitia tells Kiki that there's going to be an event where she's going to be given the key to the city. And so Kiki's like, girl, don't worry. I'll be there with bells on. Nothing's going to keep me away from this event. Moving on from there, Melody and Kimmy, they go out for some type of a spa treatment or massage or something, and they're having a conversation. And Kimmy says that she's actually feeling a whole lot better physically, which is good to hear. So they talk about Monster and Maurice, and Kimmy tells Melody that they are still not really helping her out a lot around the house, which is extremely sad because Maurice, you know what your wife is going through, and you need to anyways, that's just sad. You got these two you got these two men in your house and they are not helping you out with the house chores like the way they should be. It's just sad. So they talk about Kimmy meeting up with Kiowa and how Maurice feels like that they still have these unresolved issues from the past, or that Kimmy specifically has unresolved issues from the past. And how Kimmy didn't like the fact that people were talking about her, rumors were going on about her being the other woman, and Kiowa never really stepped in to clarify anything. And so Melody asks her, well, did you interfere with Maurice and Kiowa's marriage? And Kimmy was like, no, they had already filed for divorce. The divorce was still pending at the time. It wasn't final yet. But Kiowa was talking about reconciliation. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, but Kiowa wasn't having these reconciliation conversations by herself. She was having them with Maurice. So what was Maurice saying about reconciliation? Was he for it or was he against it? So when the implication was made that Kimmy was the other woman and Maurice was cheating on Kiowa, Kiowa said nothing and she let these rumors run wild. So then they talk about the Black Expo. Melody says that she's not interested in working on the Black Expo because she doesn't want to fool around with Martell because they have this heated custody battle going on in court. So she don't want to be nowhere around Martell, period, because he's trying to get full custody of the kids. Moving on from there, Letitia. So she's getting her hair done and she wants to meet up with Kiki. The event already happened where she got the key to the city, but Kiki did not make it. She was not there. And this pissed off Letitia because she keeps on giving Kiki chance after chance after chance, and Kiki keeps on disappointing her. And she's at that point now where she's seriously considering kicking Kiki out of her life. So Kiki shows up. And they talk about what's been going on with her. Evidently, she's on methadone to try to get off her addiction to, I think, pills. So they talk about what happened in Mobile, Alabama, where the event took place. And Kiki, her excuse was she didn't have transportation. They had no Ubers available at all in the city of Mobile that day. And so she couldn't make it. It wasn't her fault. She just had no way of getting there. So Letitia doesn't buy it because she says there's always an excuse. Whenever Kiki disappoints her, there's always some type of something really big and major happen. Like Kiki doesn't have a normal life. When she's supposed to show up for Letitia, some catastrophe has happened, or invaded by aliens or whatever. There's always some huge catastrophe that took place, and that only takes place around the time that Letitia has an event that she's invited Kiki to. So Letitia's considering Xing out Kiki completely out of her life. Kiki says she's sorry, I apologize, it wasn't intentional. Letitia's like, I know it's never intentional. Okay, your issues are never intentional. But then she's like, you know what, I'm gonna give her another chance. And then she invites her to the Black Expo event. Moving on from there, Melody. So Melody goes to see the Fletchers, Chris and Nell Fletcher, and they talk about what happened in court. Evidently, Martell had subpoenaed the Fletchers to into the custody battle, and he has subpoenaed them to come testify on his behalf. But when they got on the stand, everything they said was in favor of Melody. So it completely blew up in Martell's face. And Chris Fletcher and Nell Fletcher, especially Chris, he's like on the up and up because you know how he blew Marceau's cover when Marceau talked about how he had gone on that trip without his wife, but he was going there to meet up with Chris Fletcher. And Chris Fletcher said, I was with you for like 2 hours that whole entire weekend. We were not spending the weekend together. So Chris don't give a damn about covering up for these men. He don't give a damn about, lying for, he's not gonna lie for nobody. Chris Fletcher is on the up and up and he's gonna tell the truth. And whatever he asked, whatever he said, whatever they asked and whatever he answered, it came out more so in Melody's favor. So Melody felt like Oh, and Fletcher also said that he had told Martell to drop the lawsuit. Like, this is so unnecessary. Y'all have equal custody of your children. Y'all are seeing your children have equal possession of them. Stop with this whole thing of trying to get full custody. And Martell only wants to get full custody to try to prove to the world that he's a better parent than Melody. It's just a fight between him and Melody. It don't got nothing to do with those kids. It don't got nothing to do with what's in the best interest of the children. Martell just wants to prove to the world that he's better than Melody at something. So Melody says that she felt like even the judge was kind of biased against her because the judge has said something about it seems like the father is really interested in the best interest of the children, but the mother isn't. So that pissed Melody off. So now she's getting her lawyer to try to file an appeal because the judge had ordered Melody to give Martell her phone number. And she's going to base her appeal on, I shouldn't have to give him my phone number if he's using it to harass me, which is what, according to Melody, that's what he's doing. So she's going to appeal that order to try to, not give him her phone number or to change her phone number again and not having to give him the new number. So yeah, this is getting real petty. Martell is meeting up with his mom. He's mad at his mom because whatever she testified in court was also in Melody's favor. And so, because they told the truth. Melody's not a bad mom. There is no reason to give him full custody and Melody only visitation. So the mom told the truth and it worked out for Melody, and Martell was pissed. And Martell was like, if we're going to go after her, we got to go after her really, really hard. And, we can't be... Martell, the people told the truth. Just accept that and move on. At least you get to see your kids 50% of the time. Well, there's fathers out there who don't get to see their kids not even 10% of the time, and they really want to see their children. So just be happy that you have them 50% of the time. So Martell filed some kind of motion. I don't know what he filed. And he's just mad that his mom didn't really stick it to Mel because the mom had to tell the truth. Kimmy, she meets up with Kiowa. Kiowa says that what Monster really needs right now is his mother. And I totally, completely agree. I understand the thing about a teenage boy starts needing the influence of his father because he needs to know how to be a man, etc., etc. I totally agree with that. Maurice is not absent from Monster's life, but he's just not present full time. Even with the boy living with him, he's not really there for Monster. And so Monster's going through whatever he's going through because he's living with his dad, doesn't really see his dad that much. He's stuck with Kimmy all the time. And then when he does see his dad just wants to fuss at him and just point out all of his wrongdoings. So I don't think it'd be such a bad thing if he went back to his mother. And of course, Maurice can still see his son, I'm pretty sure, as much as he wants. So you're still going to be influencing him. But this whole arrangement of living with Maurice and Kimmy, I don't know about that. So Kimmy says that her and Kiowa are now in a really good space. And Kimmy tells her how she always took Kiowa's perspective. She always took it into consideration. She says, when you and Maurice were going through whatever y'all were going through, I was always trying to get him to see things from your point of view as the mother. And basically saying, I was standing up for you, girl. Even when, y'all were like in the middle of it, going through. I was always standing up for you because I'm a mother and you're a mother. And so I wanted him to see things from your perspective. And so she says that her biggest issue was being seen as the side chick and that Kiowa not clearing up that perception. And we don't really know what Kiowa's response is going to be because that's where the episode ended. The only thing that I can say is I feel like Kimmy has unresolved issues about that. Because I think that my personal opinion about all of this is that I think that Kimmy and Maurice were having a relationship during the time when Kiowa thought her and Maurice were working things out. And maybe really the blame needs to be put on Maurice. It's got nothing to do with the two women. It's got everything to do with Maurice and not making things clear. Because he should have, if he really was over Kiowa and he did not want to reconcile with her, he should have made that clear and not lead Kiowa on. And then don't make Kimmy think that you and Kiowa were completely over. So these two women were living in two different realities. Only Maurice knew the what's up, but he was playing both women. So the conversation, you can't have a conversation about Kimmy and Kiowa not getting over certain issues if Maurice isn't there. Maurice needs to be there as well because he needs to give his perspective. And it's just sad, and it just kind of sickens me that these two women have to have this conversation without the real culprit being present. And Maurice is who knows where, while these two women are creating tension again between them. And maybe that's what Maurice likes. Maybe that's what Maurice wants. He wants them to be going at it with one another. When they are getting along and when things are peaceful between them, it makes them feel uncomfortable, maybe because they're going to share notes. I don't know. And so he wants to start drama between the two women because it's in his best interest for them to not be close, for them to not get along. I'm thinking that's probably what Maurice is trying to do, because I'm not understanding why he keeps on trying to get them together, knowing that, and he wants them to get together for a very specific reason. He wants Kimmy to address why she was so pissed off back then. How is that helping anything to rehash things that's going to get her all riled up, that's going to get Kiowa all riled up? They're at a good place, Maurice. Leave them the hell alone. It doesn't help out. It doesn't help them. And it doesn't help Monster if these two women are bickering again. And whatever Kiowa's reality was, it was what it was. Whatever Kimmy's reality was, it was what it was. That's not going to change. Kiowa is not going to see Kimmy as anything other than the side chick. And Kimmy is not going to believe that Maurice and Kiowa were really working on their marriage when Maurice was dating her. She's not going to believe that. She wants to believe that their relationship was over. So, I don't know. We'll find out next week what happens. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it on your way out. Please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.